As I said in the last board meeting, I based my vote on what's best for students at Warrenton Middle School. And being a former administrator, if you're not ready in May for August, you're not ready. I have no idea how the Renaissance might be, can turn things around very quickly. But I want to do what's best for those kids in Warrenton. And I'm sitting here thinking, you know, that I heard the conversation this morning from the state. We fail kids and we quit on kids. And I don't want to quit on Warrenton Middle School kids. In the classroom, I was a math teacher. I might have to reteach a kid 10 times. Renaissance said, whoever this morning said, we failed them for 10 years. I'm willing to go 10 more years and try. I can't vote for this because we didn't, again, I'm going to say we didn't fail those kids. And for Renaissance to come in and say they're going to be ready in August, I highly doubt that. I wish we had more time. I wish I had more time. But I can't give up on our kids. I think we have a plan in place to better serve them for a year and come back and revisit this later. So I would not be voting for this agreement.
I really hurt today. We have never equivocated on the fact that we have not been successful at Warrenton Middle School. But it is not because the people that work there, the people have given their blood, sweat, and tears to work with those students. It's not because they didn't try. It is not because we're incompetent. And I think that when Ms. Montgomery talked about empathy and respect, you know, there are some adults in this world that could learn from that statement. I really have struggled and prayed to try to figure out what's the best thing to do. Charter schools or public schools? Some of the things that they're asking for in this agreement are not our normal charter school request. But at the same time, after hearing from the attendance zone committee about the hardships that would be imposed on the parents with their children being so far from home, I am willing to give Charter USA a chance, and so I will be voting to support this agreement.
Clayton. At our meeting on Friday, we discussed what it would look like not having a school in Warrenton, because everything that I'm hearing, there will not be one if Charter School USA doesn't run it next year. I am not willing to relocate 276 students from Warrenton to Workman when Workman is not ready for them. And I'm not willing to relocate 298 students from Warrenton to Bailey, because they're not used to it. They're not ready for them. I'm not sure they can have staffing. I'm not sure they have the rooms. Committee, the report says, oh, we can find the rooms. I'm sorry. Listening to the discussion that was the discussion with the department, the school board, the state school board, and the commissioner, my immediate reaction was, I would rather have those kids working with Charter School USA than whatever the state school board or the commissioner of education or the DOE decides to do with them. At least they would be in their home school. They would be in walls that they recognize, places that they've been, and they would be working for the future. Now, that's 2 grade levels. Remember, 1 grade level's never been there. Boy, they're going to really be lost. I'm very concerned about the 6th grade. The 6th grade has never been in middle school. And now we're going to tell them that we're not only going to send them halfway across the county, we're going to split them up from the neighborhood, the people that they probably went to school with last year. So I have rationalized with my own thoughts is this is the best thing at the moment for the students in the Warrington zone, is let this group get together, let them start doing their work, and move in that direction immediately. We've been given 48 hours. That's why I'm saying let's give it to them, because we have tried for 10 years or longer. And if they think they can do a better job, but at least we'll put the kids back in that school building.
All right, I've not spoken. You did go through all the points. The big sticking point was the zone, and keeping the zone, keeping the kids there. I have been very open about my feelings about keeping Warrington Middle School open. I have acquired great disdain for the business practices of Charter Schools USA with their, quote, negotiating. If I tear up, I want people to know I only cry when I get angry. So run. But I might tear up different. First time that my wife has ever told me when I got home from something that she was embarrassed and ashamed. And that was after listening to the state board and the commissioner chastise us as if we were not even little kids, because I wouldn't talk to a little kid that way. Bullies, thugs. The commissioner showed himself to be a very unreasonable, a very unprofessional man. The state board showed themselves to be nothing but a bunch of magpies repeating what they've been told to say. And I took this morning and did not say a word at the advice of the attorney, who said, Mr. Fetzko, do not do this. Don't get people all upset. Don't make them more angry. Because we have to have a long-term relationship with the Department of Education. We have 11 other schools that are in turnaround status. They will be here. We do not need them to come in and be more harsh to the schools that are still remaining in turnaround status, and we don't need them to be any more vindictive than they have already shown. I have, at one point in my career, I had the utmost respect for the Department of Education. Betty Castor, some others way back in the 90s especially, were people who, when the DOE came to help, they did come to help. And they treated everyone as professionals. That has changed. It's very unlike that at this point. We have had every trick that could be used against us in this whole negotiation. We've been told what to do. We've been treated unprofessionally. I would rather, I don't know what I'd rather do. I'm ashamed to be in a situation that I have to work with a group of people who I do not trust as far as I could throw them. Now, I say that, and I say that I want to separate people from the problem. My problem was with the people that we've had to deal with. Charter Schools USA, the attorney, the leadership on that, the Department of Education leadership, the commissioners, that wasn't leadership, the commissioners' rantings, whatever. So the problem is, what do we do that's best for students? That's where I'm concerned, okay? These others, I fiercely have said on and on, separate the problem from the person. Don't make it personal. Don't turn it into something you cannot control or you can't do anything about. But what can we do for the students? Last week I made comments about a plan B. What are we going to do as a school district to make sure that our students never get put into this kind of situation again? And that's the number one thing that we need to do and we need to have driving us. We can't fix yesterday. Yesterday's gone. But we can make sure tomorrow is better. And if we do not lead ourselves out of this, then shame on us. Because we cannot depend upon the Department of Education, we cannot depend upon the commissioner, we cannot depend upon Charter Schools USA or Renaissance to lead us out of anything. But we can depend on ourselves. My comment about the people, the administrators in this building earlier stands. This group of professionals can do anything that we take a mind to doing. Can we take over and continue doing Warrington Middle School ourselves? No, not this year. We cannot do it. DOE and the chancellor, the commissioner, the chancellor have all said, you will not operate a school there, you will not do anything. I heard Pastor Davis, Marcel Davis, talk about the issues that are going to come up if we combine groups of kids together and we do this at the Workman and Bailey sites. That made the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. We do not need to create a situation where we have riotous behavior or the potential for fights, chaos, distractions. We need to stop being distracted. We need to make sure we are educating. I look out here at B. Coleman and I will cry if I continue to look because my heart breaks with the decision that I have to make and the rock and the hard place that I've been put between. I hate it. I would, if there was anything that I could move heaven and earth to do something different, I would have already done it or make recommendation. All I could say is we need to leave students at Warrington Middle School for at least a year, and then we need to build a system of K-8s or something that will cause our students to stay with us, to not choice into a charter, to not leave what's going on, and show that we can educate our own and we don't need somebody being pushed upon us. Okay? The rhetoric, not rhetoric, the disingenuous stuff that was said this morning by people who were in authority. It was disingenuous to say, you picked Charters USA. If there's only one person standing there, you don't pick. You are given and that's it. That is not a picking or a solution. A top plan, turnaround option plan, there is no option. Every time we had an option, it has been taken away. The idea that some of those people would sit there and say it's your fault that the kids are in the shape they are. I've used my analogy, and it's the one that people seem to understand. Warrington Middle School is our car. The DOE and the state board put us in the back seat, and they took on driving it. They drove it into a tree, and it's our fault that it's a wreck. Well, that's garbage.